Welcome to the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, episode number 21. There are no rules in filmmaking, only sins. And the cardinal sin is dullness. Frank Capra.
Broadcasting from the back alley in Hollywood, it's the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, where we show you how to survive and thrive as an indie filmmaker in the jungles of the film biz. And here's your host, Alex Ferrari.
Welcome, guys, to a insanely amazing episode of the Indie Film Hustle Podcast. I am your humble host, Alex Ferrari. Don't forget to head over to freefilmbook.com. That's freefilmbook.com to get your free film audiobook download. So, guys, I wanted to bring this episode to you guys. I wanted to bring these guys onto the show because when I heard their story, I was so blown away by what they were doing. It's just I'm speechless. Literally, I'm speechless. I'm going to introduce you guys to Wakaliwood. Wakaliwood was created by a man named Isaac Nabwana in Uganda, Africa, and he basically has created a film industry single-handedly, almost down in Uganda. And imagine a time where there was no filmmaking technology. You really had no information. You were just kind of discovering the art, kind of like they did in the early 1900s, the silent movie days. Well, that's kind of what's happening right now over in Uganda with Isaac and his production company, Ramon Film Productions. He created a movie called he's actually created over 40 movies in the last 8 years, but his biggest hit is Who Killed Captain Alex? I have no affiliation. And he that's gotten over 2 million downloads on YouTube, and he's sold a bunch of them. And the passion that this man creates with his movies is amazing. He taught himself Adobe Premiere 1.5 by using the help files because there was no internet in the village. He did the same thing with Adobe After Effects. So his films have a very unique look and feel to them based on the technology they have accessible to. But the one thing that he has is a passion that literally oozes out of every frame of the movie. And I was so inspired by what these guys were doing and how they were doing it. I wanted to bring this story to you guys. And then Alan's story on how he actually left New York City as a film festival programmer and moved to Uganda without knowing Isaac, without knowing anybody there, just showed up and said, I want to be a part of this craziness. And Alan has partnered with Isaac, and now they are making movies and more movies and trying to get the word out on Wakaliwood, and so many other things are happening with Wakaliwood. So I want you guys to sit back, relax, and truly be ready to be inspired. Oh, and also this intro to the interview is a little bit unorthodox because I wanted you guys to kind of understand what they were going through to just even do this Skype interview with us. So I'm basically bringing it in right as Alan is crossing the sewage that overflowed that evening to go to Isaac's house to sit down and do the interview. So it's an amazing story, guys. So enjoy.
I'll walk you through this. So, it's a slum, so that's raw sewage in the front. Mm-hmm. And there was a heavy rain, so it floods. That means sewage comes into where I live. Mm-hmm. And I cannot find my shoes because it's dark. So I'm walking around in the kind of the sewage kind of thing in my bare feet. Nice. And I'm coming up to Isaac's. Nice. It's the real deal, man.
It's okay, real deal.
Here we go. Cody. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we're with Isaac.
Isaac, how are you, my friend?
I'm okay. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much for doing the interview. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
So, all right. So let's get started, guys. I saw your that little doc that they did over at Vice, and that kind of introduced me to your world. And then I've gone deep down the rabbit hole of Wakaliwood. So I've been obsessing about you guys ever since I saw that. So I reached out to Alan, and I'm so grateful that you guys decided to jump on the interview. I think you're an inspirational story, and I hope my crowd will never ever complain about making films in Los Angeles after they hear your story. So first off, Alan, how did you tell me the story of how you ended up in Uganda?
Yeah, it's, to me, it's very simple and easy, but I don't think people think I'm crazy. So I was living in New York. My background is in film and film production. Then also I was a festival program director for a number of years. And so a friend just showed me a trailer, just 90 seconds from YouTube. It was the trailer for Who Killed Captain Alex.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed it to me on his iPhone in a bar. And, everyone's laughing this, and I wasn't laughing. I mean, I was, meaning it's crazy and it's fun and all this, but it looked to, I didn't understand it, meaning it looked like something, there's a story here. Not like in a documentary sense, although yes, but in like, I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more.
Okay.
And that's it. And so 2 weeks later, I just came to Uganda, and I didn't call, I didn't email.
You just literally showed up.
Yeah. And that's it. And I knew I would find him because it seemed like the personality behind that was just very strong. It was like very big. So I knew people would know him,
Right.
If it was a quiet film, two people having a conversation, or that's a little different. But this, I knew it. I knew I'd find him. So, and that was it. It was actually my first full day there. I found him.
So this is definitely not Dinner with Andre. So you definitely, so that's extremely exciting and brave of you. Like, it's something that I know a lot of people would not just like, hey, let's just get on the boat and go to Uganda and see if I can find this filmmaker. So that alone is a story in itself.
What's funny about that though? It's like, because I thought about all this. Yeah, actually, what I did was I bought the ticket. And then I returned it the next day because this is crazy. But then the next day I bought it again, and I had to pay the fees.
Of course.
But it's because, but I thought it would be crazier not to come. Really, I thought if I did not come, I would always wonder or always want to know. So I guess so. But it was I thought it out somehow.
So Isaac, let me ask you a question. What triggered your passion to become a director and open up a studio in Uganda?
Yeah, I would say it is art because when I was young, we liked, we did martial arts, and it was we wanted to do movies but we didn't know what to do. But what we knew is if we do martial arts like Chinese kung fu, it would be very simple. And personally, I was an artist, like as in drawing, and from childhood I used to draw comics in a book. I would draw football match, the whole pages of the book, 32 pages, and I draw a goalkeeper getting the ball, doing it. So I knew how to use the drawings, make it like it's a moving something. It's a story in it. So from childhood I knew that. And I think that is when I wanted that to make my pictures move. And when I started, doing martial arts, I knew that one day I will make a movie. But my brother was not believing me, and he was always saying that you need a lot of money to make a movie.
Right.
Yeah, I think also, it is passion. You love something and then you follow it. So that's what I did. I had to follow my dream.
Good. That alone is an inspirational story. Just that alone, without the rest of the story, because a lot of people don't follow their dreams, especially over here. They get caught up in the day of living and not actually following their dreams and figuring out how to get that dream to be a business, which is what you guys have done. You've been doing this for 8 years, right, Isaac?
About 8 years.
And how many films? And how many films have you made so far?
The truth is, I cannot say these movies because I've worked on several projects, but around 40 movies. Above 40 movies.
So you've made more movies. So you've made more movies than Steven Spielberg. Very impressive.
He's the Spielberg, George Lucas, James Cameron of Uganda.
Oh, absolutely. Throw in some David Fincher and Michael Bay in there while you're at it.
Sure. Hey. Right, Bruce Lee.
Exactly. So Isaac, what films inspired you growing up?
Yeah, there are so many movies. As I was growing up, I never went to cinema halls because I was obedient to my parents. But my brothers used to go out and escape and go to cinema halls. They come back, they tell you stories,
Right.
and really those stories are still in my head. And I've never seen even some of the movies. They used to tell me, like the Bud Spencer's movies, because there's nowhere to get them here in Uganda.
Right.
But I know Bud Spencer by the story my brothers used to tell me. But now I've never watched him. I don't know even how he looks like.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. And now back to the show.
But so there are so many movies like The President's Man of Chuck Norris was good. Wild Geese, I think by James Bond. Wang Yu's movies and Bruce Lee's movies. Chuck, The Commando of Schwarzenegger. John Rambo's movies. There are so many movies which were, in fact, were told by my brothers. But I never watched. I saw them when they were released here in Uganda. I never saw the movies, but I got the stories from my brothers.
Wow! So you literally watched movies through secondhand stories.
Yeah. And I tell you, those guys were very good storytellers.
That's amazing. So
when you saw the movies, they were boring to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, this is horrible. What is this Chuck Norris guy doing? This is horrible. My brothers tell much better stories. Isaac, where do you get the ideas for your films? Because they're very unique to Uganda and to your culture.
Yeah, there's some things which I think are making them unique. Maybe it's the way I write them, but I normally want the life we go through plus some fiction anyway. That's how I make the movies. But the most important thing is that we are a family here. We sit together sometimes after writing a script. We sit together and discuss the script which I've written. All people have got ideas to contribute. And another thing is that I try to see that in the script I write, everyone is in the script, has to act. So I write for everyone who is here, who is around me.
Wow.
So that really makes it, different from movies from West, being that you see, like, let me give an example of Commando. It was written for Schwarzenegger.
Sure.
And you can see that. Yeah, but for me, I don't write for one person. I write for everyone who is here. And I look at them, I see a character in him or her, and then I try to, to put her in that movie, to fix her in that movie. So I think that really makes it unique. And being that it's a combination of film stars, I think it has to be unique all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, from what I've gathered, what I've watched online, and talking to you, it's basically Wakaliwood's like it's an infant. It's in its infancy almost. It's almost like the way it was in the turn of the century in LA, in Hollywood, or when they were making the silent movies. They were figuring things out. They didn't have any access to a lot of information, so they were just trying to figure stuff out. And you guys have been kind of doing that with Wakaliwood. Is that correct?
Yeah. We always figure out something and then we do it. It's like we're always improvising.
You're doing, and that's where great art is made. Is like when you don't know. Like there's a lot of filmmakers. I'm not sure if you know who Robert Rodriguez is. I know Alan probably does. But he was a filmmaker who kind of just did stuff on his own, and he was very similar. Like, what do I have access to? I'm going to just go. I have access to a turtle, a dog, and a town, and a couple guns. Let's go make a movie.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I'm hearing from you, but at a much more communal sense, much more based around the entire family.
Yeah.
Now, how did you teach yourself editing and visual effects, Isaac? Because this is a complicated process. I was fascinated to see some of the behind the scenes.
Yeah, I tell you, at first, I remember when I was trying to do the special effects and visuals, there's a movie called Solo.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think you know that.
Yes, the one with is that the one with Kurt Russell?
Yeah.
No, there was another one. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I used to cut fire from that movie. to see that I paste on something and then see if it burns, something like that. Then later on, I thought of something and then I said, yes, green screen, because I was reading Adobe Premiere. It was 1.5, which I started teaching myself. I use the help button of Adobe Premiere 1.5. It's like a book you read and understand. It was not very easy to understand, but because of the art and creativity, which I think is in me, I don't think I got it from anywhere. It is a God-given. So I started using that the ideas, and then I see the fire. I figure I find how did they do it. When I learned in that Premiere Pro, Premiere Pro 1.5 that there is chroma key. I started using a green screen. In fact, I have a wall here which I painted green.
Okay.
In his house. Painted the walls in his house are painted chroma key.
I noticed that.
I started shooting.
I noticed that in one of your interviews. I actually saw the back. I was like, is that chroma key green back there? That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. That's green. That's green. That's chroma green screen. So I started putting fire in front of it, and then I go and I key it. Then I use it. So later on, I studied a difficult software. It was called combustion, because when I had combustion because in the past when I was in school, I used to learn. I was a very good student of physics, so I knew I wanted combustion from there. So I knew it has to be fire in it if it is combustion. So I started also using combustion. Studying combustion was not an easy thing. Of all softwares I've made, combustion is very, very, very difficult. It helped me very much in making smoke, in hooking Captain Alex. In fact, that's what I used to make smoke and also some fire, muzzles, something like that. So I combined Adobe. By that time, I didn't know After Effects when I was doing hooking Captain Alex. I knew Adobe Premiere Pro 1.5, but I didn't know After Effects. I learned After Effects later.
Right. But you were using combustion to do the visual effects on that one.
Yeah.
And that
he's learning.
Go ahead.
He's learning without at that time. This is before we had internet here.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not like he has like YouTube tutorials or anything.
Yeah, that was
all or if there's even someone who knows that can teach him.
Right.
There isn't any.
No, of course, there's no one in probably within 1,000 miles that could teach them Premiere at that point in the game. That's
combustion,
And combustion. No, actually, I've actually opened up combustion back in the day, and it was complicated. That's why I don't use it. It was a really complicated program for the day, especially if you have no background in visual effects or software or anything like that. So that's amazing. That really is remarkable, Isaac. That the thing I love about your story so much is that there is so much passion behind what you guys are doing in Uganda and with Wakaliwood. Is that there's that so much passion, and it's raw passion. It's not jaded passion. It's not, oh, how am I going to make this or that? It's just, you just love what you're doing. And that's what drew me to you guys. And I think as the word gets out about what you guys are doing, that's what I think your fans are going to start drawing you more and more, because that passion is something you can't manufacture. You can't make that. Like, you can't go into a strategic marketing campaign and go, how can we create passion? Fake passion. Like, it doesn't work. People know the difference. And that passion of what you guys are doing is so real and so raw that it's infectious, actually. It's actually infectious. Kind of like your Ebola movie. But so have you now, Alan, have you guys been submitting to film festivals?
We were rejected by everything for Alex.
Wow.
Domestically, but also like Japan. I thought might have a chance. No. Even like there was a festival. It wasn't say first choices, but there were festivals that are just dedicated to poverty. Even
sure,
for like ultra no budget,
and
right. All they wanted, and they were rejected outright from everything. Some of them, I think, thought that we were fake, that this isn't real. Like they would ask me, instead of saying no, they would ask me, how much does Isaac charge for interviews? And I didn't understand what they meant, but I think it's because they thought this is just a joke, that this is a scam.
Wow.
So we were rejected outright. I understand my background is, as a program director for festivals. Everything rejected.
And you went after all the big and small festivals here in the States as well, and genre based.
Yeah, Yeah, because that's how I want to present it. Is what it is. It's genre. It's action horror, action comedy and horror.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, he's got all these millions and millions of views,
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that there were all these fan clubs. There's a paintball team. This is before we went public with Alex,
Mm-hmm.
but there was like a paintball team in Berlin. There's a fan club in like Indonesia, and these are all spontaneous. Like these are just fans who see the clips and organize.
Right.
So we just kind of made the decision. Let's just release it straight to the fans, make it free, bring it to the fans.
Right.
And then that's what happened. And once it got out, and then people started seeing it, they just fell in love. And that's what's been happening these past 6 months. Is it just building and building? But I can tell you, in the beginning, people would tell me like, "Oh, the films are violent."
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. And now back to the show.
And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know how to answer that. To me, they're like Road Warrior cartoons, Roadrunner cartoons.
Right.
It's they're comedies. There's laughter, but they would say like this is a promoting violence in Africa, or all these kinds of things without seeing the movie.
Right. Right.
I don't know. So at the end, we had all these millions of views. So we just released it to the fans, and then I think the rest may be history.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the smartest way I think you guys could have gone about it, is actually just like, hey, just let's show it up, and then create that fan base, and then you can figure out how to monetize later, which is what you guys are doing.
And then, because there's also the new movies. I mean, and again, this is a studio, meaning we have about 12, I think around 12 films in an action horror cycle.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be subtitled, they have to, and things, but we have them, and so the next step is, with maybe potentially then for the next movies to release them in conjunction with a film festival.
Mm-hmm.
With the dream being just to get Isaac and maybe some of the actors to the West.
Right. Which I think
Isaac has never actually been to a theater.
Oh, wow. I mean, he's never been to Isaac. You never been to a movie theater before?
No. I've never been there. Apart from this cinema halls, which are here now, the local one, and I go there for a VJ.
Sure, that's right.
But I've never.
Yeah, it's a TV set, like a 19-inch TV set.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about how can you walk me through that screening process at the local screening hall, because I saw a little bit about that in the behind the scenes documentary, and I want people to understand what it's like and how different it is, the experience with the commentary.
With the VJ.
Yeah, the VJ. Yeah, how can you explain to the audience what's that process?
Yeah, a VJ, after making a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I take it to the VJ. He has a cinema hall. That is a small cinema hall, local one, and he has a mixer. He has a DVD. I mean, a TV,
mm-hmm.
and he has a banner which burns the DVDs. So what he does, he has a microphone. He mixes he starts playing the film on a screen. And he has audience, of course. Sometimes it has not have audience if it's just recording for maybe selling for TV or something like that. But he is on a microphone. He pulls back, he pulls off the sound of the movie,
mm-hmm.
and then he talks, and then he brings it back, and it's like that. You hear him saying, "Oh, it's a movie," and then it comes in something like that, and he cuts the sound, and then he talks something like that. He's always joking,
Right.
He's always joking and adding some, jokes, and he is also on point sometimes, and he goes off, and then it's like he's underlating, but also in a joking type, in a joking way.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes it a much more enjoyable experience for the audience.
Of course, everyone goes mad when he starts, because he's always live, he brings in, that happiness in him because he watches the movie. First time he watches the movie, before you watch, he does what? He visual it.
Mm-hmm.
He has to watch it, understand the movie. So after understanding everything, he knows where to put a joke. He knows where to
Wow.
guide you, something like that. Yeah.
So you guys should actually do a special release of your movies with him talking through the commentary.
Oh, you mean like a VJ version of the film?
Yeah, you should do that. That would be
it's Alex, man.
Yeah, that would be an awesome experience for people to kind of feel, to be in that room would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, we have the first one we tried to translate it into English, which was tough because Emmy did not speak English, our VJ.
Right.
So we did. So Captain Alex is like the first film in the world with a Ugandan VJ.
Oh, Alex is. Oh, so the full movie has the VJ already on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's free. It's on YouTube. It's on Wakaliwood.com. It's free. You can download it there. But no, Alex has I think the world's first English language VJ.
That's brilliant.
On it.
That's brilliant. So Alan, go ahead, Alan.
I was going to say, like just to follow what Isaac was saying, is that I've seen, the video hall, it could be like, it's a dirt floor with some wooden benches and usually 2 television screens. One is the movie and one is playing a soccer game with the volume down. So if you don't like the movie, you can just watch sports. But I have seen like 130 people standing on the benches. They're not sitting, they're standing on the benches, jumping up and down in the pouring rain on the steel corrugated roof with a diesel generator running all the power, just screaming loud at Isaac's films with the loud VJ. It's just complete madness. And so no, we fought very hard. Like, how do we kind of translate this experience into the West, at least partially?
Right.
And it's not, so I think we succeeded on a basic level. Mm-hmm. It's tough because also, I mean, the VJ invents his own language, its own kind of slang. So it's not exactly easy to translate it, but I think we got something.
Something came through.
Oh, yeah.
So, Alan, how does it feel to be an action star in Uganda?
Well, right now I'm more Jesus. For real. My hair's grown out and I have this beard. Before I was the commando in black and things, which will be coming out in the West. But now my hair has grown out, so I'm more Jesus, and that's my name here for real. I ended up playing Jesus in a music video as a favor, and it turned out to be like the #1 song here in Uganda.
Oh my God.
So yeah, and then I have to start dressing better because well, you're Jesus to have some level.
Well, it's easy, it's not hard. It's not easy to find Jesus, let alone in Uganda walking around. So I guess you should be able to get a lot of work.
Yeah, well, it's been 2,000 years. Yeah, well, it's 2,000 years coming, and I'm very happy to be here.
It's why, and you came to Wakaliwood, so that's awesome.
Exactly, he loves action, and
that's awesome.
He loves to blow stuff up, if nothing else. And
obviously,
so this is where
he's changed since the olden days.
It's boring after a while, man. I mean,
there's only so much you can do.
Some of these other countries, they're cool and all, but
So, now you guys did a Kickstarter campaign recently, and you were asking for $160. How much did you finally get at the end of that?
I think we got just over 13,000.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it was and this is in the very beginning. This is before I guess it kind of went viral. I guess it went viral. I don't know. We're here,
Right.
we're here. But yeah, and 160 is what the budgets more or less are for the films, and so ultimately that's all we kind of needed for the next one. But yeah, we raised over 13 grand.
Wow. And then as each movie that goes along, you keep building up more of equipment and arsenals and things like that you can keep using for other movies. So it just kind of like compounds itself, correct?
Yeah, of course. And also, like when we were working on Alex before, there were no backups like this. That we now have our first backup hard drives.
Oh, thank God!
To give you an idea.
So you just backed it up.
I don't know if you've seen. Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen pictures, but we're building a damn helicopter.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, you sent me a picture of that the other day.
And that's your Kickstarter dollars at work.
Now, what were the first things that you guys bought with that money?
Oh, it was technical. As soon as the first person that I knew was in the area from the West, it was hard drives.
Oh, really?
And like video cards and sound cards, because you just burn through those.
Oh, really?
UPS, like the power regulators for electricity, all stuff like that. Was the first. The second thing was,
trying to build the infrastructure,
right? Yeah. Well, it was the upgrade to try to upgrade it from SD to HD.
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the computers, it's the drives,
Right.
and the cameras and things. So it was that, and then also we spent a lot. Maybe I will say like 1,300 at least on explosions.
Nice.
And
just
blood and dust. Like the HD high resolution, effects and things for the new stuff.
That's awesome, man. And how you guys still working on Adobe Premiere 1.5? Or have you upgraded?
Yeah, it's now I'm using 5.5.
Okay, good. So you've come along a little bit more. So that's awesome. And you're using After Effects now for your visual effects.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Fantastic. Now, this is at Indie Film Hustle, we talk a lot about marketing and how to get your movie out there. Can you talk to us about how you are actually selling and marketing your films locally? We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. And now back to the show.
Yeah. In fact, it wasn't also an easy way of doing it because when we first released the movie out, it was not easy for us to sell it because of the, people were used to Western movies and Nigerian movies here. And also they knew as an actor here in Uganda was supposed to be a drama actor on stage in theaters. Mm-hmm. And they knew of Abe Muchibi and Mariam Ndagile, who are famous here as drama actors on stage.
Right.
So when we released the movie, we had to go first to the distributors, and they were always asking, who do you have in your movies? Who is famous? Who do you think will sell this? Something without a famous person. And then they were saying that, let us try to promote you. You give us that movie for free, something like that. And then we said,
sure.
No, at least we would, and we knew they are going to be, put them in their shops and they sit them there. They just sit with them there.
Right.
So we wanted also to promote ourselves here. So what we did, I came back with my marketing team because I made now the actors and actresses the marketing team. Mm-hmm. After convincing them that if we are to be known, we have to show our movies to the people. You have to take it to the people. They are the one who are going to become our audience. So we made that. We made these few copies and we went to the big markets in here in Kampala. Mm-hmm. That is Owino Market and Chiseka Market. We reached there with a few copies. We had like 100. Mm-hmm. And we started selling, but people were always asking the same question as distributors were asking: "Who do you have? Who is in there?" And we had no one to mention anyway. So people refused to buy. Then we came back, and then I thought that I got an idea mm-hmm. that next day let us make 300 copies and we give them for free. Meaning that you find someone on maybe a stall selling something. Uh-huh. You make sure he's the owner of that stall. You give her or him a copy for free and tell her or him that tomorrow I will come for my copy. And we need that. Then the following day we did that, and then they took the copies, 300 copies away, and we came back the following day with more than 300 copies. Because we knew it, we are going to sell. As you approach the stall of that person who took the copy yesterday, yeah. He was always screaming at you. You were good, you were very good, actors and actresses. Why did you tell me this is a movie? And then that caught attention. It caught attention to the people around there, and I asked, what movie are you talking about? And then we started, distributing the movies, and people were buying. In fact, they created our own, because they started becoming, our own, marketeers. They started, you take this movie, it is good. You take this movie, you believe me. So that is how we started with the Owino Market and Chiseka Market. And people started, in fact, they started calling after the movie. They used to call. And in fact, up to now, they call. Do you have a new movie? Do you have a new movie? It's like that. That's how we started. But we did not stop on with markets, with these two markets. Mm-hmm. We started distributing all over the country, door to door, man to man, district to district, region to region. That's how we sell our movies now. And we have taught other companies.
So the funny thing is that no matter where you are in the world, distributors are still distributors. Who's in the movie? I mean, we deal with the exact same question. Like, who's in the movie? There's no movie. Give it to me for free. I'll promote you. This is the exact same story. So I'm fascinated that this is happening in Uganda as well as it's happening in LA.
But that's like my story here, meaning it's all this. It's just a different shade of things that you say you and I know.
Sure.
Even like you were talking earlier about like early Hollywood. It's like very much because we have to build, but we have to build everything.
You have to build the
not just the
infrastructure.
tripods, but even if like a little toy, if you want to destroy it, you can't just buy it. They don't exist. Everything has to be built. But it's like it's like that. It's like what's funny to me is how we're not different at all.
Right.
Audiences are audiences, and filmmakers are artists are artists.
Yeah, no matter where you are. I mean, and Americans want to see Americans doing stuff on screen, whatever that might be. Ugandans want to see Ugandans doing stuff on screen, either talking about their own cultural experience or things like that, and they just want good stories at the end of the day. And if they've never seen themselves on screen, even more so. That's why a lot of the independent movement has grown as much as it has, because a lot of people are starting to see themselves on screen, and people want to see that. I'm Latino, so I'm Cuban. So there's a lot of Latinos in America that want to see Latinos on screen. That's why a movie like Fast and Furious and that does so well.
Yeah.
Because there's Latinos and there's, African Americans and there's all sorts of different cultures mixed into that. And that's why they're also so cool. And they're also doing very cool stuff.
I was going to say, like, you have all that and then you add some explosions.
Yes. You have some explosions, some blood. Vin Diesel just signed for 3 more. So I don't know if you knew that or not. So there'll be 3 more of those coming. So since you have all these movies already in the Ramon Film Studios library, when are you going to release them all?
Yeah, well, we're starting. I mean, it'll probably be early next year. It's the question really is film festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And what we'd like to do is what I want to do is bring Isaac to the West. And I think that you say what the dream I have is that Isaac's first movie he sees in the theater is one of his own.
Oh, that would be amazing,
right? With a full audience that already knows him and loves Alex and loves what he's doing. That's my dream. So that's the question is but then there's questions about visas, the cost and things. But that's what we're working on. That's what we want to see.
I hear another Kickstarter campaign coming.
Yeah, maybe get him out of Uganda. Yeah.
Save Isaac. No, I'm joking. Get him out. No. So what future plans do you guys have to get the word out about Wakaliwood and getting more attention to what you guys are doing?
Well, the big next thing I think is the idea of crowdsourcing an action movie, which means like so many people, people that are maybe visiting Uganda. Or say someone like yourself, like I can hear it. Like you want to, you would if you were here, you'd love to die. Yeah. Like,
yeah. Sure, absolutely.
There's something about that, and so the next film, the plan is to kind of crowdsource a Ugandan action movie, and what that means is the story will take place around the world, and if you want to be in it, you can do it. You just, with just your camera phone. You just take out your iPhone, you shoot yourself dying or running in the streets or, whatever, being commandos, and you send us the footage, we put it in the film. And what that means is like you can be, from your home in Norway or Santa Monica or Arkansas, Spain, you can shoot yourself, send us the footage, and you can become a Ugandan action movie star without ever leaving your home.
If that's not a Kickstarter incentive, I don't know what is.
Exactly. And we're testing it. We've already started a bit we have some on YouTube, some Ebola clips where just fans from Indonesia and Vietnam and Northern Ireland.
I saw some of those.
For real.
Awesome.
Are just sending us clips of themselves dying. And it works. And we make a little story, put them in, and it's the best.
That's awesome. Now, where do you guys see Wakaliwood in 5 years?
The truth is, I want Wakaliwood to be the biggest action studio in Uganda and all over the world. What we hope is that if everyone is part of Wakaliwood, it has to be the best action studio in the world.
Right. So you're gonna just try to make as many movies as you can and just keep getting that word out and make it the best you can.
Yeah. We are still fighting to see that we make so many movies. I know, we want to make entertaining movies, interesting movies. The people, not only movies, just movies, but we want to target what people really want, because this is entertainment.
Right. Yeah. Your escapism. You're just trying to watch something to escape, and watching some of the clips and stuff from your films, you definitely escape. without
and
question.
If anyone, and also for other filmmakers as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like what we can offer is something completely unique.
Very.
Just completely. And there's filmmakers out there, man.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. And now back to the show.
And we could make films together.
Now,
partially support.
Now, you guys, Isaac, are you trying to bring in other directors as well, and bringing the younger generation behind you so this can continue?
Yeah. Very much. I've trained so many editors here.
Okay.
And directors, because in fact, everyone who is here can direct a movie now, because I always teach everything.
Okay.
I teach them. I give them that chance of doing everything. Writing, directing, makeup, because I think they are filmmakers. My idea is that the guys I started with are all filmmakers. That's what I really take as a priority for them. They are filmmakers. They are not film stars. They are filmmakers, meaning that even in the future, they can make movies, they can direct and do everything. But apart from that, I am also bringing the children, the worker stars. I call them the worker stars. And we are training them, martial arts. We are training them, music. We are training them, how to do things like, I hope to also make them, good editors, because I know we need like 3D, things, because that is the generation of today. They have gone 3D. I think these children will be good if I teach them 3D, which I know I have idea of. I'm not very good in 3D, but I have idea. I think I can teach them. Right. The way I taught myself. If I teach them a little, and some of them are my children, I know they will very quickly understand, and will also continue, teaching themselves. So I'm always encouraging young generation to come in, even not only Wakaliwood, but all over the country. If I get a chance to speak to young filmmakers, I always, give them courage that they should not think that they should not wait for government to give them money. They should not wait for, foreign aid. No. They can start today, because everything has got a beginning. We don't need to wait. Let the money find us on our way. And that money, we can get it from, our works, what we do, our products. We don't need to beg too much. If you have products, if I have a movie and people can buy it, can enjoy it, and contribute to the next, project. That's what I always encourage them. Instead of, making a movie and then keep it under your bed, you put it on the market. Try it yourself. Because we have already created a little market here in Uganda. They can also do what? They can also go to the market and talk to the market people there. They are ready to buy. So it's like that. I'm encouraging other filmmakers. I think Uganda has got creative, directors and, editors and cameramen. We can make it.
That's awesome. That's very, very awesome. Now, one side question, and then I'll have a last couple. How are we doing on battery power?
I think we have 10 minutes.
Okay, so great. Real quick, Isaac, what is the camera you're using right now?
It is Panasonic. I don't know what the specifications, but it's Panasonic.
It's a solid state.
Oh, it's a solid state. So it's like the HVX 200 or something?
Yeah, it's the next generation of, I think it is next to VHS.
To the mini DV. Got it. So this is a question I ask all of my guests. So this is for both of you. What are your top 3 favorite films of all time?
I think.
Isaac, you can either tell me the storied version that you've never seen the movie that you really liked, or the actual movie you've seen.
Right, that's funny. Yeah.
Come again.
What's your favorite film you have never seen?
Yes. What is your favorite film you've never? The storied version. You can either do the storied version or real movies that you've actually seen in person. Up to you.
What I've never seen? I don't know.
Have you seen Commando? You actually seen Commando, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my best. That's what I was going to tell you. That Commando is one of my best, and the President's Man is one of the three.
Okay.
So, and this how would they call it? This guy, when they destroyed the White House, there are two versions, but they're all good for me. White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, both
they're
of those.
the same movies. Yeah,
they are the same movies.
Also, there is the Django, and I like the Django because the guy used to shoot at the the dead body was also you could see the blood coming out of the dead body. That's amazing.
I love your sound effects. They're wonderful. How about you, Alan? What are your three favorites?
I tell you, what's funny with me with this is that I grew up on the suburbs of Long Island, so yeah, I love action and all this, but I wasn't like crazy about it. I mean, I like it. I've seen everything. Predator, Terminator, of course.
Sure.
But I wasn't like crazy about it. But Isaac makes you love that. Like Isaac really makes you love all that stuff, like complete, like even much more, and you start seeing things. But if you were to ask my favorite films, like the film that I watch even here, I had to download it, and I watch every so often is Local Hero, which is the Scottish film.
Yeah, I remember Local
It's a very
Hero.
small film.
Yeah.
It's really it's really great, and it's just it's about this guy who's from Texas and he works at the oil company and he has to go to northern Scotland to buy the village for an oil refinery. And of course he doesn't want to do it. He falls in love with the village, but meanwhile the village wants to sell because they want the money. But it's just this very charming story about this guy who comes from a completely different part of the world and falls in love with everyone and becomes part of their life. And then that was always my favorite film. And then when I look at myself and what's happening here,
right,
it's spooky. It's frightening.
You're living in your own local hero.
How like the same thing has happened to me. Yeah, I think so. Well, they're all, everyone here I think is like they say it, but like they're like real life action heroes.
So in the
walk around
in the Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just saying like the way I see and they talk about it here, like all the actors and Isaac and everyone here, it's like they're all real life action heroes. They're seen that way by the children in the village. But like this whole story of what's happening here with Wakaliwood, with these guys who have really basically nothing but are building these at least helicopters and jibs and making these movies that are being enjoyed around the world when they were never meant to. They were just meant for here. Mm-hmm. They're like the true story of what's happening behind this is an action movie, and it's just beginning. This is like the first act, of what may be coming.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. What you guys are doing over there is. That's awesome. That's a great answer. It's probably one of the best answers I've ever heard. This is my favorite movie, the one we're doing right now.
Yeah. I just hope I don't die.
So, Isaac, last question. When this movie of Wakaliwood gets made, because there's going to be a Hollywood adaptation one day of this movie of like the making of Wakaliwood, who's going to play you and who's going to play Alan?
Yeah, who wants to play you, Isaac? They're going to make a movie of Wakaliwood.
Is it Denzel Washington? Is it who's playing you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Will Smith?
I don't know.
Jean-Claude Van Damme? Who's doing it?
But Chuck Norris is the best for me.
Well, obviously Chuck Norris is the best. Everyone knows that. Even here, everyone understands how badass Chuck Norris is. There's no question. And Alan?
That's right. I think Chuck Norris should play you, and just straight, for no questions. He lives here, he's building, and no questions asked. It's just Chuck Norris being Isaac.
That would just be, exactly. Just have him roll right into the part. There's not even an explanation of why Chuck Norris is in Uganda or his family. Nothing. No. It's just play.
Yeah, he's like, we have to make action movies. Everyone thinks he's crazy, but he's like, no, we can do it. How great would that be?
That would be amazing. I'm gonna send out the word to Chuck now and see if we can make this happen.
He should come.
Oh man, could you imagine? I mean, Chuck would literally be Jesus Christ if he walked over there, bro.
You don't know. Honestly, there's one of the movies we're working on. It's called Eaten Alive in Uganda.
Okay.
And they think I'm Chuck Norris because I have longer hair, and so they have to fight me and eat me because it's Chuck Norris and it's Chuck Norris. You know, I even fight Bruce Yu in it. He was Uganda's Bruce Lee.
Of course, yes.
You can't make this up. Just like in the final scene from Enter the Dragon. You know?
Oh,
where the two face off.
Yes. Do you have a hairy chest though? If you don't have a hairy chest, you can't play Chuck Norris.
Well, actually, I have like a 5'2". I'm 6'1". I have like a 5'2" African kung fu stunt double in whiteface.
No.
And if you don't believe me, you just look at my profile photo on Facebook.
Oh, that is brilliant. You can't write this stuff. Seriously, you cannot write this stuff. On that note,
you're saying like if there was a movie and like if my character is in it, it's got to be the guys from Shaun of the Dead, man.
Oh,
that's who I want.
Yes, Nick Frost
or something, or like James Franco, you know, and all.
Exactly. Well, oddly enough, James Franco would probably do it. He does everything. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. And now back to the show. He's in every movie now. So, last question, guys. Where can people find you and support what you guys are doing?
Yeah, it's Wakaliwood.com. And right now we have a Patreon account for Wakaliwood. And it's very simple. I mean, it could just be like $2 a month kind of thing. So you'll get behind the scenes action, but that also goes to support, helps keep us going. And then very soon, for the holidays, we'll start having the T-shirts and posters available in the West, and also the first batch. These will be the first DVDs. We have Captain Alex available in the West, signed and numbered. First 500 and printed by Isaac and his family here in the slum will be available internationally.
Oh, that's great.
For our fans. So that's coming.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you again so much for doing this interview. I'm going to be one of your biggest supporters and getting the word out about Wakaliwood. I love what you guys are doing. So you're absolute inspiration.
We have to kill you, man.
Yes.
We have to kill you.
I don't know how to take that. It's I want to kill you in a good way.
It's better to die with us. Die with us, I tell you. If you have to do it, it's better to do it with the professionals.
Obviously. Oh, by the way, is there going to be a sequel, or has there been a sequel to Alex, Captain Alex?
Yeah, we hope so, but in the future, we don't. Not now.
Not now. In the future.
In the future,
the fans demand it. Isaac, you must do a sequel. It should be a trilogy. It should be a Captain Alex trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see the Tiger Mafia and the Commandos as children. That's what I want to see, the flashbacks when they're 8 years old with revenge and flying helicopters and blowing up. Like how it all started.
Guys, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if that didn't get you guys inspired to go make a movie, I don't know what the heck is, man. Seriously, these guys are remarkable, and how they've overcome the obstacles that they have over there to make the movies that they're making and make a living doing it in their own market is truly remarkable. So I hope it does inspire you guys to understand that there is no limits or no obstacle that cannot be overcome when making a feature film or making your film, whether it's short film, documentary, whatever it is. You just have to have that passion and the willingness to put in a tremendous amount of hard work and imagination. Don't forget to head over to filmfestivaltips.com. That's filmfestivaltips.com. So you can download my free ebook on how I got into over 500 international film festivals for free or cheap. So thanks again for listening, guys, and keep those comments coming. Please leave a good comment or a review on our iTunes page. It's really helpful. The podcast is getting very popular, and that's all due to you guys. So thank you again for listening. Please spread the word if you like it. Tell your friends, share it on your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you like to go. And there'll be a lot more cool stuff coming from Indie Film Hustle. So thanks again. Be inspired. Keep that hustle going, guys, and make your dreams come true. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Indie Film Hustle podcast at indiefilmhustle.com. That's INDIEFILMHUSTLE.com.